Hi everybody, Master Brad from Valarius Martial Arts Center with another Mat Chat of the Week. This week we're discussing self-control. Let me start by asking your forgiveness. Please forgive me. I know I usually do this on Wednesday. Wednesday was a very busy day. I'm not making excuses, just please forgive me for being a bit late on this. Anyway, now to get to self-control. Today we're focusing on self-control. The aspect I'd like to discuss is being in control of your communication. Specifically, your facial communication, because what we do know is that most of how we communicate, I'm not going to get into the percentages, but most of how we communicate is physiology. Our body language and the way we hold our face, our facial expressions. The next biggest part of how we communicate is our tone of voice, and then the smallest part is actually the words we use. So being in control of all those things is going to make a big difference in how you communicate and how you come across to people. So thinking about your body language, how do you hold yourself when you walk down the street or walk down the hall or wherever you're walking? Are you slouching, putting your head forward and your shoulders down, or are you holding your shoulders back, holding your chest out, looking strong? See, even that, when I look back at you in this camera, I look, it looks like I'm looking down, which is not necessarily the goal, looking down on people. But the higher you hold yourself, the more upright you stand, the stronger you look, the stronger you feel. It denotes or shows how you feel about yourself, the way you hold yourself. It also affects how you feel about yourself. So when you stand up straight and you hold it for a while, it starts to change the chemistry in your body, and it affects the way you feel about yourself. I know there's a theory, and I think it's not even a theory, I think it's proven that if you stand in that position like Superman, hands on your hips, hands on your hips, looking off to the corner with your back nice and straight, then it's going to start to get you to feel better about yourself. You'll start to feel more confident, even if it's just for the moment. The same idea with smiling. If you hold a smile for a minute, you cannot help but feel better. So, you can also use these ideas and these concepts to change how you're feeling in the moment. So if you feel down, smile. It might feel forced at first, but after a while, it'll actually start to change your mood. If you feel self-conscious, then change your posture. Pull your shoulders back, stick your chest out, and hold that for a minute or two. And then you'll start to feel better about the way you feel about yourself. You won't be so self-conscious anymore. So the idea of what I'm talking about is changing your physiology, changing the way you hold yourself so that you are more confident, so that you appear more confident. So in situations where you might get bullied, which, a lot of people say that only happens for kids at school, not true. Not true at all, because people get bullied at work all the time. There is such a thing as workplace bullying. And so when that happens, you got to deal with it. But to avoid it from happening, the best thing you can really do is to hold yourself strong. The more confident you come off, the more confident people think you are, the less likely they are to pick you as a target. Whether they're picking on you in school or picking on you at work, any of those things. Now, that's not the end-all be-all on how not to be bullied, but certainly it makes a difference when you stand upright and you're strong and you're confident. You walk around like you own the place. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to talk like you own the place or treat people like you own the place. But just the idea of walking around like you belong. Maybe people are there to see you. That's going to affect your confidence. It's going to make you feel better about yourself. It's going to make other people think that you feel better about yourself, whether you do or not, which will affect the chances of you being bullied or picked on or jumped or attacked. When you're walking down the street, if you're walking down the street by yourself, I can pretty much guarantee you, people who pick a victim, people who pick someone to attack, they look for people who look weak. They don't look for someone who's walking down the street with their shoulders back and their chest out looking like they can handle themselves. That's going to get them into trouble if they do that. So they pick someone who's hunched, who's looking down, who's not paying attention to what's going on, and that's who they attack. Now, this might sound like I'm blaming the victim. Absolutely not. 100% no, I am not blaming the people who get attacked. The attackers are the attackers. They're responsible for their own actions. And what I'm telling you is that you can increase your chances of avoiding that by changing the way you hold yourself, by walking in a posture that shows you in a positive light, that walking in a posture that shows confidence. And as I mentioned earlier, not only will that send the message to other people that you're confident, but it also sends the message to your own brain that you're confident, and it will eventually start to get those wheels changing and cause new neural pathways in your brain and actually cause you to be more confident. Your physiology can affect your brain, just like your brain affects your physiology. It works in both directions. Now, it's a little bit more permanent, and it's more likely to permanently change your posture when you change the mind first. And of course, your outer world is affected by your inner world. So what you think, what you feel affects everything that happens around you and in your life. That's the law of attraction, and I think that's kind of a given at this point. But so changing your thoughts will change your physiology first. But if you're conscious of your physiology, and you consciously pull your shoulders back anytime you feel them leaching forward, pull them back, that will shift that. That will start to make small shifts. Okay? So I'm just talking here about being in control of your body and your face, your facial features, your facial expressions. You can't control what your eyes, nose, and mouth look like, but the expressions you make, most people make them without even thinking about it. They just react and go, whatever they're making of their face. And that sends a message. How you hold your face sends a message to the person who's around, the person that you're walking by, the person you're talking to, all of that. What that message is, we don't necessarily know. However they're interpreting it, which they interpret it based on their own outlook on life, their own view on things, but it does send a message. So to be more in control of the message you're sending, be more in control of your physiology, of your body, how you hold yourself, and of your facial expressions. Now, does that mean I want you to change it? Does that mean I'm telling people to change it? No, absolutely not. Just be in more control of it, be more aware of it. Awareness is so powerful. When you're aware of the way you do what you do, then you can start to make a difference for yourself and for other people. All right, well, that's been my Matt Chat of the week about self-control, in this case, controlling your physiology. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for staying till the end. If you find this useful, please like and share. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. This has been Master Brad from Valari's Martial Arts in Somerville, Mass.